The Kalief Browder case. On May 15, 2010, Kalief Browder and a friend were walking home from a late-night party in the Bronx. What had seemed to be an enjoyable night for the two black 16-year-olds quickly turned into a nightmare after they were abruptly stopped and searched by the police. The officials stated that the man claimed the two stole a backpack 2 weeks earlier with a camera, iPod Touch, credit card, and $700 in it. Soon after making this claim, though, the man fled to Mexico. In various interviews about the incident, he gave slightly different accounts of the situation each time, which was noted but not addressed until later. Kalief had previously been wrongfully charged with third-degree grand larceny just 8 months prior for stealing a bakery truck and crashing it into another vehicle. This made him nervous about potentially being in another situation again. So, our question is, despite the alleged victim having a different story each time, why do you think police didn't interrogate him further to really find out the true story on the night the robbery occurred?
I think because he was someone who was already accused of another crime. They trusted the person's story more than they would his.
Even after denying any involvement in committing this robbery, Kalief spent 3 years at Rikers Island, New York City's main jail complex. 2 of those years, he was held in solitary confinement. There was no evidence other than the man's statement, and Kalief was never able to plead his case in a trial. Within 1,000 days, Kalief was locked up. He missed important developmental events, such as high school graduation. His mother attempted to bail him out of jail, but she wasn't able to come up with the $3,000 that was required to do so. Still, Kalief continued to maintain his innocence and waited for a trial that never came. Eventually, the charges were dropped and Kalief was released from jail. This came after several failed suicide attempts in solitary confinement and frequent beatings in inmates and guards. During the adjusting process, though, he often told his mom and his friends that he couldn't take it anymore. Then 2 long years later, Kalief hung himself.
Kalief's punishment for a crime that he did not commit was not only morally wrong, but inhumane as well. The claim made by the man, which differed in each account he gave. Those varying facts should have been addressed much sooner because it was in fact the only evidence the justice system was using against the teens. Additionally, Kalief never got a trial date during his 3 years of imprisonment, and he only actually spoke to a judge once in the hearing. A trial is important for people to hear the opposing sides of the case and make a well-informed decision about whether Kalief actually committed the crime. Kalief was deprived of his happiness and basic needs after being imprisoned for 3 years, where he was tormented and beaten by other inmates as well as the prison guards themselves. The environment that he was in for those 3 years required that he grow up fast. Kalief even stated that he needed to get big in order to stand up to physical threats that he encountered. So what actions do you think need to be taken to avoid people from being wrongfully accused?
There should be stricter laws enforced so that way justice is served to those who are wrongly accused.
I don't believe the victim's story was enough to keep Kalief in for that long. I think they should have provided more evidence.
For most, prison is a life-changing experience, and getting your life back afterwards may seem impossible. Kalief, however, was a strong example of a resilient person and proved that he was able to persevere and stay strong through hardships. Most importantly, though, he never lost sight of his long-term goals. Kalief obtained his GED and received an honor roll from the Bronx Community College shortly after being released from prison. His case became so well known to the public, even President Obama spoke out about this incident and banned solitary confinement for minors. Obama dogmatically believes that this form of punishment is overused on people like Kalief. Justice is not placed appropriately on youth, and we believe it is never okay to place an accusation on someone because of their skin color, and certainly without substantial evidence. So do you think that Kalief should have received more help after serving jail time? And do you think that would make his transition to re-entering society easier?
I think from a criminal justice standpoint, he's no longer the justice system's responsibility, but I think after suffering that kind of trauma, I think it's very important for him to seek help afterwards.